Call the January 3rd Executive Committee meeting to order. As soon as I turn on my mic, there you go. Mr. Burns, would you call the roll, please?
Larry Leverins.
Here.
Jackson Bogan.
Here.
Gary Schroeder.
Here.
Jerry Reynolds.
Here.
Greg Jones. Tom Murtaugh.
Present.
Kathy Parker.
Here.
Quorum present.
Thank you, sir. Approval of the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes from the December 6th, 2023 public hearing as submitted.
A second.
Any additions or corrections? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. New business? Any? None? Okay, public hearing. Let me read our procedures. For those of you unfamiliar with our procedures, the Commission would like you to know the following. When we hear a request to subdivide land, we're only concerned as to whether the actual drawing showing the division into lots meets the technical standards of our ordinance. The question of appropriateness has already been determined. Anyone wishing to make comments or provide us with information regarding any subdivision petitions will be given the opportunity to do so. We're a 7-member body, and a majority of 7 is 4. Regardless of how many commissioners are actually present, at least 4 votes in favor or 4 votes against are required for our action to be official. If fewer than 4 of us agree to either approve or disapprove an action, that case must be heard again next month. Our vote on a request to subdivide is final. When addressing the Commission, please state your name and address for the record. Please limit your statements to no more than 5 minutes. And we ask that you not repeat what others before you have already said. Cell phones must be turned off while the meeting is in session. If you need to make a call, please step out of the room before using your phone. All exhibits presented to the Commission become the property of the Commission.
I move that there be incorporated into the public hearing portion of each application to be heard this evening and to become part of the evidence at such hearing, the Unified Zoning Ordinance, the Unified Subdivision Ordinance, the Comprehensive Plan, the bylaws of the Area Plan Commission, the application and all documents filed therewith, the staff report and recommendations on the applications to be heard this evening, and responses from checkpoint agencies.
A second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move to hear and vote on RE 0087 Firefly Ridge Rural Estate Preliminary Plat.
A second.
Okay, petitioner's property is located here on the west side of County Road 900 East. Most of the property was rezoned to rural estate last month by the county commissioners. this little AW that's right there, I believe that's petitioner's house, and that was parcelized, so that's not part of the rural estate. Here's a look at the aerial photograph and a closer look. You can see Wildcat Creek kind of cuts through that corner of the property. And there is a private drive that serves the house that will serve all the lots in the rural estate as well. Here's a look at the preliminary plat. They're creating 10 lots. Not a whole lot to say about this one. The private drive is within an outlot, and there is a second outlot up in the corner, the northwest corner, so everyone living there will have access to the creek, which I think is kind of nice. It's a common area. So, there are 4 conditions on the construction plans. There are 5 conditions on the final plat. This is a preliminary plat, so petitioner has requested permission to bond. So that's something we don't normally see here at the Exec Committee. And staff is recommending conditional primary approval.
Thank you, Kathy. Does the petitioner or the representative wish to make a presentation?
Good evening. My name is Gene Gauser with Butler, Framert, and Seifert Engineering. I'm representing the landowners, Mr. and Mrs. Schmeltz. Like Kathy said, not a lot to say. The common area A is intended for common use. The homeowners association will be able to put kind of temporary items down there, benches, things like that, to enjoy the area when the water's low enough. The note on the items for approval regarding building outside of 100 feet won't be a problem. There are very steep banks off of the higher grounds here, up to 30 and 40 feet. So even building within 100 feet will be well outside the floodplain area. The current private drive is a gravel drive that'll be constructed to a paved private drive with the cul-de-sac at the end for emergency turnaround. And we'll answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Does any member of the audience wish to comment on this petition? Questions from the commissioners? None? You have a white ballot then. And they are asking for bonding.
Tom reminded me the green light should be on because we're streaming. I think if you could look into that, thanks. Still getting used to the new equipment. Give you a unanimous ballot for approval.
Thank you, Ryan. Ready? Ready.
I move to hear and vote on S 5168 Cabot and Huntington Addition, a replat of lots 68 and 69, minor sketch.
I second.
Okay, petitioner's property is located on the corner of Tippecanoe Street and North 7th Street in Lafayette. Property is zoned R2U. It's currently 2 lots, and they want to make it into 3 lots. So here's a look at the aerial and a closer look. You can see it's unimproved. And here's a look at the sketch plan, creating 3 lots out of 2. They are showing a 10-foot setback along Tippecanoe Street. That's by averaging, they can get to 10 feet. So there will be a note to that effect on the final plat. It's one of the conditions. So there are 3 conditions of approval, and we are recommending conditional primary approval.
Thank you, Kathy. Does petitioner or petitioner's representative wish to make a presentation?
Good evening. My name is Doug Hall. I'm a land surveyor with Vester and Associates, located at 309 South Columbia Street. Our project today is for Habitat for Humanity. They have a need for additional lots in town and have selected this location to replat into 3 lots. And we'd like to entertain any questions you may have at this time. I'll yield my time.
Thank you. Any member of the audience wish to comment on this petition? Any questions from the commissioners? Okay, you have a white ballot.
We have a unanimous ballot for conditional approval.
Thank you. Approval of the January APC public hearing agenda.
I move that the following subdivision petitions be placed on the January 17, 2024 Area Plan Commission public hearing agenda at petitioner's request. Placement thereon being without reference to compliance or noncompliance with the adopted subdivision ordinance. That'd be S5166 LH Industry Supply Subdivision Minor Sketch and S5169 Concord Plaza Subdivision Phase 1, a replat of Lot 1B Minor Sketch.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move the following rezone petitions be placed on the January 17, 2024 Area Plan Commission public hearing agenda. Z 2918 JHS Investments Group LLC, NB and R1 to GB, and Z 2919 Trinitas Development LLC, I3 to R3.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move the following petitions be placed on the January 24th, 2024 Area Board of Zoning Appeals public hearing agenda. BZA 2137 James and Joanne Lane, BZA 2138 Aaron Gravely and Shelby Gravely, Bisher, close enough. BZA 2139 Chris A. Tabor and Shane Albritz, BZA 2140 Sean and Victoria Quigley, BZA 2141 Stein Barn LLC, and BZA 2142 Stein Barn LLC.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move the following special exception request will not adversely affect the comprehensive plan. BZA 2142 Stein Barn LLC.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move the following requests for variance from Unified Zoning Ordinance are not requests for use variance prohibited from consideration by ordinance and statute. 2024-01 MPH Lafayette LLC and 2024-02 Seven Ventures Incorporated.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
I move to approve the December 2023 budget report as submitted.
I second.
Mr. Hiddle.
Thank you. The December budget report is included in your packet on page 19, the last report of the year. Don't have anything additional to add, but would be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from anyone? Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Any other business? Mr. Schroeder,
Move to adjourn.
we're adjourned. For the last time.
So, we're ready to go? Okay, I think we're ready to go. So we will call to order the Area Plan Commission of Tippecanoe County Ordinance and Bylaws Committee for January 3rd, 2024. And first on the agenda, we have approval of minutes from the December 6th, 2023 meeting.
Move we approve the minutes of the December 6, 2023 meeting.
So I have a motion and a second for those minutes. Any corrections or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Stockwell overlay update.
Thank you. This is just an informational item. A group met, kind of a task force group, in December, as recommended by a number of the people on this committee, to talk about the proposed Stockwell architectural regulations. And we had folks from Stockwell, from APC, staff there, from this committee, and from the Builders Association of Greater Lafayette. And at the end of the meeting, which I think was productive, after debriefing with the Stockwell representatives, they decided not to go further with the request for the architectural regulations. So that is going to be withdrawn by staff, and it's here on the agenda simply so that it is a matter of record.
Okay, very good, thank you. Appreciate all those who were involved in that task force and came to a resolution. Next on the agenda, modifying public notice for plans. We kind of put that on last meeting. I think Vicki brought that up, and we just said we put it on here so we wouldn't forget it. So brainstorming for ideas, so we're expecting the staff to come with a nice proposal for us to, that's where all the brains are.
It was Vicky's idea.
Just because you have an idea, you don't have to have the solution.
We can note, which may be helpful, that we sort of bolstered our push for coverage by TV18 and by the Journal Courier. And TV18, I think, came and interviewed Ryan and had a presentation, not a presentation, had a segment on the thing. And the Journal Courier is coming for an interview tomorrow, and then they will be running a piece on it. And Dave Bangert came again today, and will be running another piece in his blog, which is more and more widely read. So from the traditional media standpoint, we're getting more for the upcoming open house than we'd gotten prior to the previous open house. But if there's a desire to talk about other options, other means of advertising, we certainly would be amenable to talk about that.
Just anecdotally, I've heard from several people that they heard the WLFI piece and it seems to me anyway that a few more people are aware of what's going on than were before.
May I ask?
You may.
I believe we have a newspaper publication, correct? And that is only the Journal and Courier?
Correct.
There is no other publication we could use?
I reached out to the Exponent for
Oh.
kicks and giggles.
Yeah.
They never responded.
So you've got newspaper, and that's required. Then you have posting on our website,
Correct.
and then you have mail to certain people, depending on the issue and how far away, that sort of thing.
Correct.
Anything else?
Social media postings.
Is that an actual task that's taken on by staff to
Yes.
post, and that's on the
Yeah.
website for
Yeah,
the...
that was, we originally were doing that with the transportation planning work on that side of our shop. And so I just sort of asked them, hey, could we borrow all of your, basically borrow your page and, be able to broadcast what we're doing on the planning side. So,
Is your Facebook link directly attached to the counties? Meaning, I know every department has their own.
I'm not sure that's,
So does everything you post show up on the counties?
Yeah, we don't do a Facebook, I don't even know if we operate a Facebook page. I don't think we do. Our Twitter, when we do a Twitter blast, it's through the county's Twitter
Okay.
page.
I know we have significant followers on Facebook page, so we may want to look at using Facebook and then boosting those,
Through Paula.
through Paula. Yeah.
Good idea. And then the other thing is we enlist our steering committee members to utilize their email chains, whatever they're using, to send out information to their followers. Like in the case of some of them, it can be quite a significant number.
Do you use Next Door Neighbor?
Next door,
Yeah.
I don't think we have
Tippecanoe County has one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
next door.
We have next door, yeah.
is it?
Yeah, Tippecanoe County on Facebook just came up. I have it here, our recording going on right now, so it says that.
Is the county's,
Executive committee. Yeah, it's right here.
yeah. I was responding to Tom, but is the county's next door visited?
It's not as well utilized as Facebook.
As Facebook, okay.
But it is, yeah,
Okay.
That's Paula also.
exactly.
Okay.
Cindy in IT is the guru on it, but Paula is the one that controls content, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Would it be a problem to blast it out on all the social platforms that the county utilizes?
Not a problem at all.
I think what we do normally works. I just think that in this situation with what was occurring, on normal things that would come to this. But when we're talking something that's reaching that many people, and the link was wrong, it was like a comedy of errors. And so I just feel like Facebook's a great tool, but in this scenario, I don't know if there can be a budget. If it's something this undertaking, is there money that can be put in the budget for maybe one TV, to make sure TV 18 is going to actually play something? I believe that they only did because somebody reached out to them and then they did a story on it. I don't know if they would have reached back to Area Plan, but it was because of another source, I truly believe, that they decided to do a story on it. So I don't think that's we can count on that going forward. And again, normally I think our processes are great. It's just when this a one-off, I think that maybe there should be something in the budget if we had to do. I don't know how much it costs for TV 18 to talk about something, to ask them to, not a commercial, not an ad, but I don't know.
I don't think there's any cost to them covering it on their news. You can't say, hey, we'll pay you to do a story. You could pay them to do a public service announcement, and that's a commercial, essentially.
I don't watch Star City enough to know. Last I knew, they do things for free for nonprofits and things, but I don't know. But
Yeah.
normally I think our process is fine. It's just on something like this, when it's out of the box.
Yeah, we did reach out to the Channel 16 Star City, but couldn't get any responses back. I don't know if anyone has anyone they know on the inside in there that we could make use of, but.
I know Emma Slater a little bit. I could reach out to her and she did a story, but I don't know how many people actually watch Star City News.
I don't either.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And in instances where we do more neighborhood-based planning, which is mostly what you've seen over the years, there's a manageable amount of actual property owners that we can just mail them something, you know. But this is an unusual effort with this two-township plan where there's just so many people, it's just impractical to do that personal notice. And so something like maybe investigating a PSA, you know, might help in these, when we do these kind of rare, larger area type plans. So that's certainly as a staff would be open to it, you know. Again, I don't know how much it would cost either, but.
Airdrop flyers.
Well, I guess it's winter. This is when they're doing the flights for the new aerial photos, right? So
Yeah, there
while
we
they're
go.
out there, they,
Exactly.
you know.
Other thoughts, comments? It just seems like we're in a transition period where, like I said, in the earlier days, we'd have a reporter at ordinance committee meeting, and there'd be an article about the meeting. Plan commission, TV was there every meeting, newspaper was there, and that's kind of gone by. And you talk about budgets, and if you have a major plan like a township, talk about budget, not necessarily a legal ad, but maybe just an advertisement in the paper, and not the day before, but a couple of weeks before. And I'm not sure what kind of response that would get, but I don't think that would be too expensive. And somebody was telling me that government has a special rate with the paper for advertisements, so I don't know if that's worth exploring, plus the other items that we have. It sounds like we have to attack it by a lot of different areas to try to get the word out. Any comment from the public on this? Any solutions?
I think adding Facebook, although I don't get on it, but I'm one of the few, I think that would help get the word out pretty fast from to everyone, from residents to developers to, I mean, somebody's on it and the word will spread pretty quick. I mean, the idea of putting it in the paper is great, but the number of people that are getting the paper is less and less, and I think the number of people that are finding things on Facebook is greater and greater, and it's probably much more cost-effective to, what do you call that when you do a Facebook and you boost it? So just my 2 cents.
I noticed the Builders Association, maybe you guys can answer this. You guys have got an ad on there that's coming up in, what is it, January, February, you're having something at the fairgrounds, and that's been all over. I've seen it, and it looks like you're getting good response from people. I don't, is that a cost?
Oh, yes.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a tremendous cost. We can't send something from somebody else, they'll pull that. So, us sharing your link without, they won't let us use it. We got all kinds of controls in there. I do have one question for you.
Okay, if you'd come up so you can get on the record, please.
Mary Ellis, 1814 Behringer Court, Lafayette. When I was searching for the link for the announcement of the meeting, I believe, and this is about a month ago, that it asked for my email address. And did you find that, Vicki?
I didn't.
Okay, and I was just wondering why you would have to put in personal information to access a link, and if that's still valid.
That was if you were going to leave a comment.
Just if you're going to leave a
Yeah,
comment?
they just asked for a name and email.
Okay,
Right.
I didn't,
The PDF for the plan is just on the website.
it's readily available?
Yeah, you just
Okay.
click it. and it
I wanted to
pops
make
up.
sure, because a lot of people don't want to leave their personal information on that. We could create something of our own to advise of the meeting, because we have quite a few followers, so we would be happy to do that if you'd like. Get the information out. Who would I work with on that? Okay, David, thank you.
Very good. Anything else on this issue?
This isn't on the marketing side, I just have a question for the open house that's coming up in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
One, and maybe you guys are going to do this, I see where you're going to do a 10-minute presentation before each hour, which I think that will be good, but a lot of the comments I heard was they wanted to see some type of overlay. Are we going to provide that? Because trying to look at 3 maps and figure out, I mean, that's hard to do, where people were like, it would have been nice to have seen, here's the proposed overlay of how that's going to be affected.
I didn't catch what you said. A what?
Huh?
You let off with an overlay?
Yeah, at Klondike, there was maps laid out, right?
Right.
How it is now, what's the proposed.
Right.
And I kept hearing people say it would have been nice if it would have been somehow, overlaid so they could see. And I don't know if we're going to have some kind of a PowerPoint there. Huh?
Like a transparency sheet?
Something.
Huh.
I don't know if we're going to have access to any of this at Harrison or not, but that was, I've heard that from numerous people. So just a thought.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have any materials like that in-house to do something like that, it's almost like a Mylar type.
I mean, anyway.
I wonder if maybe there's a GIS option that we might be able to present to our very, very accomplished technician. I'll look into that, Vicki. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else on public notice? Sounds like we had some good ideas and already some things in place maybe with the county that we can use, see how that works over time. Anything else on that? Hearing nothing. Citizens' comments.
Steve Schreckengas, 635 South Earl Avenue in Lafayette. I'd just like to speak briefly again on the Stockwell plan and how much the Builders Association appreciates the participation of staff and with the members that participated in our work session. I know Mr. Jones was there, Mr. Leverance, Commissioner Murtaugh. You were going to be there, Gary, but became ill. But the work session that we had to discuss, to really get into the weeds, was, I think, very beneficial, and I appreciate all the participation that was involved in that. We had about 8 members from the Builders Association attend the meeting. But thank you, and as we go down the road with new proposals and new ideas, if need be, I would hope we could use the same format to really kind of get into the weeds, better format than trying to do it in a formal public hearing. But once again, we appreciate putting that together for us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, and sorry couldn't make it, and thank you guys for continuing on without me, which wasn't hard, I'm sure, but I really did want to be there. But anyway, any other comments?